Hey everybody, it's me Jermaine, and I'm back with you with another episode of The Simple Truth. And I'm continuing on my series here as it relates to the Trayvon Martin case. I will give you a quick review if you're not familiar with it. In Orlando, Florida, in a gated community, a young man, 17 years old, by the name of Trayvon Martin, was shot, killed, and murdered by an overzealous self-appointed neighborhood watch captain by the name of Gregory Zimmerman. Now, I won't go into all the details. You can look at the other videos. But what I am here to share with you is the fact that we need to pay very close attention to this case. I'm going to follow this case all the way until it is over, until there is an arrest, an indictment, and eventual conviction of the person who is responsible for the death of this young man. If you are a person of color in this country, this case is not new to you. It doesn't ring any surprising bells. It doesn't ring any thoughts of how could this happen, because this type of atrocity has been happening since probably since the end of slavery in the late 1800s. And I know there will be many that will look at this and say, how can you make such a statement? Well, it is absolutely true. And the simple truth of the matter is that the relations between white Americans and those Americans that are of color has continued, to be strained year after year after year. We look at the society at large and we feel that, we're all quote unquote getting along and everything is okay. But then when you have a situation and a case like this, we find out that we have not come as far as we think we have. I really and truly believe that with the homogenization, the coming together of the many different cultures in this country, that we've begun to believe that because of that coming together, that there are no more problems. There aren't any more negativity between different types of people. And it truly shows that the seed of racism that was planted many, many, many years ago, it has germinated. It has begun to take root. It has taken root. It hasn't begun to take root. It took root many, many years ago, and it is still here. Now it is beginning to sprout. But what has the tendency to happen is that racism itself is not as overt as it once was. You don't have situations where you have people that will forcefully and outright call a person out of their name, whatever type of negative wording that they give to individual persons of color or groups of people of color. But we really need to take a look at ourselves. We need to take a look within and ask ourselves the question, do we really and truly, as the Bible says, do we honor our neighbor? Do we look at our neighbor as God looks at all of us? And the answer to that question is absolutely no. And I'm going to, as I stated before, I'm going to continue to follow this case until it ends. And once we come to an end, I wonder, where will we be when this case comes to an end? But I'm going to give you a little insight to what I believe will come down the road. I believe we'll still be in the exact same place. And with the economic condition and situation that we find ourselves in, it seems that economic situation has caused us to become worse off than we ever have been in the past when it comes to the relation between different races of people. We have seen many situations where there was I did a video a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, where a white grandfather was subject to arrest and detainment for walking his black granddaughter down the street in Texas. There have been cases in New York where young teens have been brutally shot down and killed. Why? Well, in most situations, with the one in Texas with the grandfather and the granddaughter, there was someone suspected of doing something to children. So thus that was the cause for that grandfather being stopped and questioned and detained. In New York, it was a case of there was drug involvement. But I definitely request, implore, and beg you to look at your neighbor as you look at yourself. Because we are all people. We are all people. We may have different color hues. We may speak different languages. We may be at a different economic level. Some here, some down here. And you notice I ignored here in the middle. That's gone. The middle, when it comes to economics, is almost a thing of the past. It is non-existent. But this has been my take on the simple truth, and I'm just devastated at what happened to young Trayvon Martin, and I do not want to see another situation of another Trayvon Martin or another situation where another young child, no matter what their color is, whether they're black, whether they're white, whether they're yellow, whether they're brown, doesn't matter. A child does not need to have his life taken because of those colors that I just named. It is truly important that we look into ourselves and give ourselves a self-evaluation and try to do what is necessary to change what is inside of us that causes us to look negatively at others. This has been The Simple Truth. I am Jermaine, and as I always tell you, the simple things are oftentimes the most profound, but yet they are the most difficult to put into practice. Thank you so very much, and I look forward to coming back to you with more updates here soon.
Uh-oh, look at him looking.